What's up? It's Marco back on the Say Chakra channel, and I just got done watching the USMNT national team beat Qatar 1-0 in the Gold Cup, and man, it's not really the greatest performance by the national team, but man, I have to say, like I said in the title, vintage CONCACAF performance, and hey, sometimes that's what it takes. I mean, it was kind of a back and forth game. I mean, the first half, and honestly, the first 60 minutes, Qatar was the better team. They had less of the ball, but they were more dangerous with it. Their attack was much more potent, and Matt Turner had to make some huge saves. And Matt Turner, what a game that he had. He has really been putting himself in contention for that number one spot. I mean, man, him and Ethan Horvath this summer, these goalkeepers have really been stepping up and some great performances. I mean, man, the game changed when the subs came on. Gyasi, Zardes, of course, to be him picking up the goal. I mean, I always say about him, he knows how to score in these CONCACAF competitions. And hey, this was not CONCACAF. It was actually our first game against a non-CONCACAF team since first competitive game against a non-CONCACAF team since 2014. And man, it was really good to get that win. And yeah, great work by Gioacchini to set up that goal. I'm really happy with that. In the first half, they had a lot more of the ball, but they really weren't that dangerous. I feel like the attack was really poor today. I'll get to them later, but not the greatest game by our attack. Couldn't really make any chances really come to happen. Not really troubling the goalkeeper, but then in the second half, things really started to change, and it became more of a traditional CONCACAF game, even though it's an Asian team we're going up against. I can't remember the name of their federation. It became a lot more end-to-end, and that really suited our style of play. Sebastian Lletget, who really, I don't feel like he's the greatest player, but once that game got end-to-end, he was making some great combinations, working very well with Matthew Hoppe, and he became one of our most dangerous players. Especially in that last half hour, he was looking really good. Reggie, when he came on, he was great, and just when that game changed, you could see how good this USA team became. Now, it wasn't perfect. They gave away that penalty, obviously, but hey, it was very good. It was very good. They got themselves the win, and honestly, I don't know why, but I feel so much better after this game than I did the Jamaica game. I can't say why, because it was a very similar performance, but I've had a lot of fun watching this game, especially in the second half. I feel like the defense did pretty well. Sands made some mistakes, but hey, I feel like he's out of position a little bit in that forward-the-back, center-back spot, so I feel like I'll give him the pass. Midfield wasn't exactly that creative, but again, not really that. I kind of blame the attack, who it was very injured, but Matthew Hoppe was great. And on to the individual players, I mean, I feel like our best outfield guy was Matthew Hoppe today. He was looking really good. I'm loving his energy. I'm loving his confidence. And man, maybe not in a normal game, I wouldn't like this, but when the team's just kind of stagnating and he's dropping back from left wing to go and collect the ball where the six should be collecting it and making those combinations, that you love to see that. If anything, just for his attitude. Great job by Matthew Hoppe, and man, he went from somebody who's I kind of like his talent when he's been playing at Schalke. I mean, scoring a hat trick in the Bundesliga, and you have to be good, but he has been phenomenal this tournament, and I've been loving watching him play, and I'm starting to see why Premier League clubs are really interested in him. He's been great. Matt Turner, mentioned him already. Dude, amazing job. Some just clutch saves. There's not much to say about it. He's been playing great. He didn't get to show it too much in this game, but he's been doing a lot better with his feet, which was probably the only concern I had going into this tournament with him. But he's making a claim for that number one spot, and if Zach Steffen isn't starting, Ethan Horvath, he doesn't win that job against Samba, he could be the starter come World Cup qualifying. I feel like Shaq did well. I mean, probably doing very well going forward. I feel like Reggie did better than him, so it kind of takes away from that, but he's had a breakout performance this tournament, really back on the national team radar, and Miles Robinson continues to be really solid. He's another guy who just great performance after great performance this tournament. Those four in particular have done wonders for their stock. On to guys who I'm kind of lukewarm about their game. Gianluca Busio, pretty strong defensively. He's been improving a lot in that respect, and I do like to see that, but he really wasn't that creative. I don't feel like this team really suits his standards, or his style, I mean. But if you're in a national team, you can't just build around a guy like that. We're not going to build our team around Busio when we have Pulisic, Reina, McKinney, Adams. So he's got to learn to play better in our system, I guess. Sebastian Lletget. Someone's getting on me for that pronunciation, and I'm butchering that. He's getting involved. I mentioned him getting involved, but largely poor for a lot of the game. But he was part of some of our better moments. And Kellyn Acosta, I don't think he did well on the pitch, but I liked him being on the pitch. He did a great job putting off the Qatar penalty taker before he took the kick. And even though he really didn't do much, I feel like we did better on the ball because he was marked out of the game. Like, that's leadership that you'd love to see. And on a young team especially, that can be good. And I feel like Acosta, he's like more of a role player. Like, he should be in the team, but he should not be starting. He's not technically good enough. He can't keep possession of the ball. But end of the game, if we're up 1 or 0-0 and we need to get a draw, bring into penalties, he's that guy. Great defensive work. I love his heart. He's been playing very well. And, man, I love to see Acosta in this team. It's weird because he's not a guy who I don't really rate him as a player. I rate him as a person, which I don't know if that sounds weird, but that's how I feel. Onto a bit of the poorer performance today. James Sands, he was not too good on the ball today. Definitely a step backwards. Wasn't looking that great. Honestly, a comparison I'd make to him right now is Connor Cody. I feel like I've done that before, where he's very good in a 3 at the back. His weaknesses can get covered. He can be a lot more creative, but in the back 4, you can see a lot more of those problems. He gave away the penalty. He was giving away the ball a lot. Not the greatest game, but I think it was his first bad game of the tournament, so he gets a pass. He's still been amazing this tournament. Honestly, I'd put him with the first 3 guys, like Hoppe, Turner, Moore, Robinson. Sands has been the other breakout performer for this tournament for me. Though New York City fans will tell you that he's been doing this the whole time. And then the attack, which I've been mentioning, has been terrible throughout this entire thing. Paul Arriola, he was extremely poor throughout the game. He got a little bit going towards the end when Reggie came on. He was working pretty well with him, but I think I'm going to give him the injury excuse. He just came back from that injury. I don't think he's 100%. He's playing because, well, Gioacchini hadn't shown much before this game, and Jonathan Lewis shouldn't be allowed within 20 feet of this national team. So it is what it is, but I can't say I like the game. And Daryl Dike, he's been probably the most disappointing this tournament. But again, I'm going to give him the injury excuse, especially with a player like him who relies so much on his strength and physicality. Like, the players I always go to is Lukaku and Peter Crouch, which, I know that sounds funny, but he has the interview where he does a really good job of talking about how he uses his height to his advantage, so I like using that comparison. But, yeah, especially with a player like him who uses his strength, having that shoulder injury, that's just really limited him, and I feel like that's affected his confidence. Like, he finishes that chance that he had, that Matthew Hoppe passed to him, he finishes that normally, but yeah, I feel like his confidence is shot, and yeah, he's been very poor. Maybe it's also, I don't feel like he's had a break. He went straight from the MLS to Barnsley with much less of a rest than many other players, so I feel like that's a factor too, but yeah, Daryl Dike's been poor, but I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt that we'll give him the injury excuse for now. But you do have to just take a look at that. For the substitutes, Zardes, he got the goal. Great performance by him. He needs to be starting the next game. I mean, Zardes, he's someone that I mention a lot as a low floor, high seal, or sorry, I screwed that up completely. Low ceiling, high floor player. You know what you're going to get out of him. He's not the greatest technically. He'll make a couple mistakes, but God, when he'll get you a goal. He might trip over his own feet. It might be some weird deflection, but it'll happen. I said that in the preview, and then we have that game where he gets that weird touch that I didn't even mean to do, and we get a goal off of that for the Sam Vines goal. You have to take that into account, and Zardes, he'll get us goals. So, like, it is what it is. He has definitely thrown himself in the striker conversation, and with Josh Sargent not performing great right now, if Daryl Dike continues to be hurt, it's him and Pfok are the guys who you can really look to them and be like, I feel like they'll get us a goal. And it's weird because I really don't want to say we should be playing Zardes in World Cup qualifying, but at the moment he might be the best option, which sucks to say because, as I mentioned, low ceiling player. He's not going to go out there and just win us the game. Like, he scored that goal, but Gioacchini put it to him on a silver plate. And Gioacchini, great game by him. He can, like, I feel like every time I write him off, he proves me wrong and just comes up big. But just back to Zardes, it's tough to say because he's performing. Our strikers really aren't right now, so I feel like he has to be on the team at the very least, but it's just like, we know that if Dike is on, he's much better than Zardes. So it sucks that we want to go to Zardes, I guess. I don't know. It's tough to say. Nicolas Gioacchini, I mentioned him before. Great job by him. Man, he just came to the game. He showed his energy. Great performance by him. Honestly, he should be starting on the wing because Arriola, he's not been great. So I hope that he can get him a start, and good job by him. Reggie Cannon, he looked very good. Honestly, at this point, it sucks because Shaq Moore's been playing great, but Reggie Cannon is such a talent. He's probably, no, I'm not going to say the most talented, but like him, Dike, Turner, Busio saying, okay, yeah, but he's got a really high ceiling as a player, so I really don't want him to be on the bench, but man, Shaq Moore's been so good, but Reggie Cannon, another great performance. Williamson, when he came on, I thought he brought a lot of energy. Tough to say because, oh, God. But he was looking good today, and, just brought energy. He was technically involved in the goal, but I don't feel like that was really him. I haven't been too impressed by him, and I don't feel like he's done enough to earn himself a start. Maybe Busio has done so little that Williamson gets a start, but I feel like he hasn't done too much for it, which he's been giving so limited playing time that you can't really judge him for that. Cristian Roldan, I'm not too impressed by him. I know he has that assist, but he has so many bad moments in games that I really don't feel like he's good enough for the team at the moment. Then on to the team selection and the job of Gregg Berhalter. Pretty poor team selection, I think, because even though when I saw a lineup I liked it, it's pretty clear that Dike and Arriola aren't 100%, and you really can't play them. Zardes should have been given the start, and I can understand Arriola because we don't have a winger, but at the same time, you're the guy who decided to not bring up Chris Mueller, so that's on you. There were a lot of guys you could have called up, but yeah, I don't feel like that was the greatest job by him. Subs turned out to be pretty good. With maybe they could have came on a little bit earlier, but aside from that, I feel like he's setting up the team as best he can. I mean, with the squad we have, I mean, the midfield's not going to be good no matter what you do with it. I mean, I think Busio, Williamson, Lletget would be a good midfield, but not particularly great. I mean, the wingers really aren't available. Hoppe's done a job at the left wing, but he's not a left winger naturally. And, just a weird thing and doing the best he can. Last thing I want to mention is this field should not be used again for a while, especially against CONCACAF opposition. I mean, people were sliding all over the place. It's a new stadium, and I understand you want to initiate it, but pretty bad. But something that I was thinking about, maybe use this against Canada, because it's in Austin, you got all that heat, but using it against Mexico and Qatar, that's just playing into their strengths. I mean, if we're playing them, we should put this in Buffalo. Try to freeze them out the game, because we're playing in the MLS, and Europe, we're used to that, but I don't know, Mexico, that's such a nice place, even in the winter. That's a vacation destination. We gotta use our snow to our advantage, I don't know. Play Canada and Death Valley, play Mexico and Minnesota. Play to our strengths. Yeah, that's all I've talked about. I was really excited with this game. I'd sign off, but my camera froze. But yeah, I want to get this up. Yeah, that's all I'll talk about. I'll see you.